Hey guys, I haven't made a video in quite a while. I'm sure most of you realize why, but yesterday was pretty eventful, and I just want to make this video to share what happened and to talk about what I learned from all of it. So yesterday, Ernie colicked, and it was not fun. It was a very long, scary day. If any of you have ever dealt with a horse colicking, that's what we want to see. Thank God, Ernie. How perfect is that timing? Oh my God. So, like I was saying, if any of you have ever dealt with colic, you know that it is very scary and it's nothing to take lightly. And I want to talk about what I learned from all of it. So, I want to say this. I think probably the most important thing I learned, and well, maybe I didn't learn it because I kind of already knew it, is trust your gut. Like 100%. Do not listen to anyone else around you, okay? Like for real. Don't listen to the barn owner. Don't listen to your friends. If you think something is wrong with your horse, I want you to call the vet, and I want you to call them ASAP. If I would have listened to the people around me, I don't know what would happen. I don't know if Ernie would be here today. Like, there's too many what ifs in, a colic situation. And thankfully, I am a independent, free-thinking woman. And I trusted my gut, and I called the vet, and he's okay. It was a long day, don't get me wrong, but he's okay. And that's the most important thing. And I say that because people around me told me that he was just tired and he'll be okay and it's not a big deal and blah, blah, blah. Bullshit. Okay? Straight up bullshit. Don't let people tell you that. You know your animal. You know your horse. Trust your gut. Super, super important. So the second thing I learned is routine is so important for horses, and I slipped up on that. And in colic situations, like, it's really hard sometimes to say, okay, what is what went wrong, who are we blaming here, if anybody. And I just think that Ernie's routine changed, and he was also wormed about 2 days ago, and it just created this perfect storm of change, and he colicked from it. That's what I think happened. So remember your routine and try to stick to it as closely as you can. So what happened was, we've been having some really warm days here in Pennsylvania, 70-degree days. Horses are getting crazy. Really, awesome weather, and I allowed Ernie to go out into the field 24/7 without his muzzle, so he was getting a lot more grass than he was used to. Now granted, I'm going to show you. You can see the grass is probably not really the best lighting. The grass isn't overly green. Things have been kind of dying off, so I thought, well, he'll be okay. Well, Ernie, I need to remember, is sensitive to grass. And if you have a horse that's sensitive to grass, it's probably not wise to allow them to be out on pasture 24/7, unrestricted grazing. So that was probably the first change in his routine. The second was he wasn't brought in for his vitamins and his minerals and his grain feeding 2 nights ago. Second change in his routine. And then he was wormed 2 days ago, and I would guess he probably had maybe a heavy worm load, so he was shedding off all those worms. Stress on the GI system for sure. And that was the third thing that had changed. So, we've got this like perfect storm of things that don't normally occur, and he colicked from it. At least that's what I'm blaming it on. So just try to be aware of those things and don't let them happen. So now let's talk about, what I did to handle the situation. So I brought Ernie in from the field yesterday to do some trick training with him like we normally do. I want Ernie to be in the background so you can see him. Look how pretty he is. Hi, honey. Better lighting too. And after his first trick, I went to give him his treat, and I could feel that his lips were dry, like his gums were dry. Mental note of that, okay? We kind of kept going, and he just wasn't interested in really doing his tricks, not really interested in getting his treats. Totally abnormal for him. He's extremely food driven. He loves doing tricks. So I decided to stop, put his halter back on him. I walked him over to the water trough, got him a drink, and just kind of watched him. And I swear it was like every, 15 minutes to a half hour, it was like, okay, he seems to be like getting worse, like more lethargic. He started after an hour or two, like, okay, he's breathing heavy. And I'm looking at his belly. I'm like, okay, his belly looks swollen to me. He kept like shifting his weight on his hind legs. All these little things. I'm like, okay, belly pain. This is not normal. So I called the vet. They advised me to just keep watching him. And they advised me to not give Banamine right away because Ernie is actually on Previcox for his arthritis, which I gave him early yesterday morning. And they were concerned about, overdosing him on pain medicine. But if he hadn't had that, I probably would have given it right away, under my vet's advice, obviously. Kept in contact with the vet over the next few hours, just updating them on what was going on. I went home for about 2 hours. I let my friends know who were here at the barn to please watch him, let me know if anything changes. Went home to eat something, came back. He's laying down. His belly looks more bloated. He's sweating now. Flared nostril breathing. I'm like, okay, shit. This is not good. Called the vet again. I'm like, look, I'm not comfortable with this. Like, I can't let this go. If he goes south, like, I will forever hate myself for not being more proactive. So my vet's like, I agree. This has been going on, for a better part of the day. Let's come out. Let's look at him. Thank God, right? Okay. So he advised me to give him half a dose of Banamine, which I did. And something I want to talk about in a future video that I just haven't had time to do is we recently purchased a Magnawave machine. So it's pulsed electromagnetic field therapy. And I don't want to go into too much detail about, okay, what it is, because I will talk about that in a future video. But holy crap, it worked. It worked so well. I was like almost in tears while pulsing him yesterday. So the Magnawave machine basically sends a pulsed electromagnetic field current into your horse's body, much like a TENS unit, but the mechanism of action is very different. The results are a little bit different. And what's really amazing about it is the magnetic field energy has a penetrating depth of about 16 inches. So if you're pulsing your horse's belly during a colic episode, there is potential, if there is a blockage of any kind, or even the gas bubbles, that you can move it along, which is exactly what happened yesterday with Ernie. I started pulsing him, like he had almost no gut sounds. Like I was listening for a solid minute and I heard like the faintest of rumbling. You know what I mean? Like barely anything there. I pulsed his belly. Oops, sorry about that. On like a fairly high intensity, way more than I normally did. And within 5 minutes, I heard this enormous rumbling from his stomach. I'm like, thank freaking God. Okay. I kept going for about 20 minutes, put the machine down. I walked him, had him get a little drink, he pooped. I'm like, yes, 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 yes. So I walked back, continued pulsing him for another, I think 20 minutes or half an hour. And after about that amount of time, okay, the Banamine's starting to work. His breathing is slowing down. His nostrils aren't as flared. He's not sweating. His belly was still bloated, but I'm like, okay, this is working. We're getting somewhere. And then, excuse me, about that time, the vet came. He's looking him over and he's like, okay, you know, obviously there's definitely something going on, but like he is improving. And he was really happy with what I did. So he still wanted to tube him and dig him out, which I'm totally fine with. I thought it was necessary too. I'm like, you know, we got to check like what's going on in his stomach. Is there any blockage, you know, in like the, you know, the latter part of his colon. He did dig out some stool, which was very dehydrated stool. But he said, other than that, everything felt normal in his rectum. His stomach contents was normal. It was just water that was coming up. So I'm like, okay, good, good, good. You know, but what he did was almost precautionary. I mean, still like 100% necessary. Don't get me wrong. But what we did with the Banamine and the Magnawaving made such a huge difference. And if you have access to anyone in your area who has a Magnawave machine, they're a certified practitioner, oh my God, call them. If you're having a colic episode. Where's Ernie? I totally believe that, like, I saved my horse yesterday. Like, I'm not kidding you. Are you coming to see me, babe? Maybe not. Oh my God, the sun's so bright. Yeah, like for real, like I'm not lying. I honestly think that like me pulsing him on such a high level just moved whatever blockage was in there and just got it going and just stimulated that peristalsis, got his gut moving again, and like pulled us out of the black. So forever thankful to Magnawave. And like I said, I'm gonna make a video about what Magnawave, what PEMF therapy is in a lot more detail very, very soon. But I just wanted to share with you guys what happened yesterday, talk about what I learned, talk about what we did, and hopefully that helps you guys. Always, again, trust your gut. Don't listen to the haters. You know your horse better than anybody, and be proactive about their care. All right. I hope that helps. Take care. Take care of your horses. Peace.